All right. Can you tell me if all of you can see my screen? The screen is visible, everybody? Okay. All right. Thank you. Thanks for confirming. So let's get started with today's topic. So today we are going to talk about one-dimensional array. Okay, so the concept of array that you have covered in JavaScript that remains intact. Okay, that the same concept is being used over here. There is just some syntactical differences which we will be covering in this today's lecture. Okay, so the first thing that we will be talking about is introduction to array in Java. Okay, it is slightly different how you create it. So first we'll talk about it. Intro to array in Java. Then we will see how do you define an array in Java. Then we'll see initialization of array. Initialization of array. And then in the end, we will see how can we loop through the array. Okay. So this is the agenda for today's session. I hope the agenda is clear to everybody. Okay, let's get started. So talking about introduction to array in Java. So array is a data structure. What is a data structure? Anybody? You guys have already been taught this. What do you understand by data structure? What is a data structure? It's just a way of organizing your data. Yeah, exactly. So Chani, it's not necessary that it will be similar. Okay, you can have unsimilar data also in a data structure. That just depends on the language which you're using or the data structure which you're using. But data structure, if anybody asks you what is a data structure, it is just a way of organizing data. All right, this is what a data structure is. It is a way of organizing data. So there are different types of data structure which you guys would have already covered when we were talking about JavaScript. So in that, there were two types of data structures that we had covered: linear and non-linear. So in linear, there was array, linked list, stack, queue. So today we are going to talk about array, which is a linear data structure. Okay. So what is an array? Array is a linear data structure. And what is a data structure? It is used for organizing your data. So using array, we store our data in a sequential manner. Suppose whatever you have to store, you will be storing like this in a sequential manner. This array, when it comes to so right now what I'm telling, it is not specific to Java, it is in general. Okay, so every position over here has got an index. Okay, the array has got a name, say ARR, this is the name of my array. And every position over here has got an index. Just give me a second, guys, I'll be back, just 1 second. All right, can you guys confirm if you can still hear me? I just changed my audio source. Okay, cool, cool. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So, as I was telling, when it comes to array, there are a few terms. First, let's be familiar with those terms. So, first is this, which is the name of the array. So, this is the name by which you will be referencing your array. Okay, which with the name that will point the variable that will point to your array. Now, this array has got indices. So the position at which an element is going to be stored is called the index. So when it comes to an array, it starts from 0. So it is like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so on. Okay. In this array, the number of elements that you can store is 7. Inside this array, you can store 7 elements. Now, when you store 7 elements, the storing of the elements starts from 0th index. Okay, the first element is stored at the 0th index, and the last element is stored at the n minus 1th index. So what is n? N is 7 over here. Okay, say n elements you're trying to store. So last element will be stored at n minus 1th index. Okay. Now, one restriction with array is that it should array should have same data type. Okay, it should have data of the same type. So it should the element in the array should be of the same data type. So you can have a array of string, you can have a array of integer, you can have a array of say objects, whatever. Okay, you can have array of any data type, but just make sure that all the elements in this array should be of the same data type. Okay, and the type of data which is there in the array, that is called as base type. Okay, so we covered a bunch of words over here, say index, base type. Clear, everybody? Whatever we have discussed till here, I hope it is clear to everybody. Any questions? Okay. So there is one thing which I want to share. I want to teach right now. It's not there in the material, but I think that it's important to know. So let's say that we create an array. Okay, this is the array that we have created. In this array, I'm storing random numbers 5, 4, 1, 9, 3. Okay, this is some random number that I have stored. What is the length of the array? Quickly in the chat, what is the length of the array? Exactly. The length of the array is 5. My first index is 0, and my last index is n minus. So length is n, right? This is n minus 1, which is 4. Okay, so this is how the elements are arranged: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, this is how it is. Now, I want to show you how these elements are arranged in memory. So consider this is your memory, the memory of your system in which you are running your program. Okay, the memory is huge, right? It is like, maybe you have got a hard disk of say 1 TB or whatever. Okay, whatever is the memory that you have. Memory is divided into smaller segments. Okay, let's think of it like that. Okay, it's divided into smaller segments. This is your memory. Okay, and what happens is that this entire chunk, okay, this entire chunk is the memory. Now every memory or every entry, okay, every chunk over here, every sub part has got an address. That is how you will identify that which part of the memory is it. Okay, so say the address is 1000, address for this one is 1001. These are the addresses. Okay, these are the addresses of the memory. This is 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1006, 1007, 1008, 1009, and so on. Okay, remember the other day when I was talking about variables, I had given you an example that when we write something like this, let a is equal to 5. So what happens is that say 5 is stored somewhere over here in 109. Okay, so what happens is that a points to the address where 5 is stored. Okay, so a actually points to this address 1009. Okay, and 5 is stored over here. So that is why whenever you print a, you get 5 value. Okay, so clear till here, or is it confusing? One The example with a that I showed, that is how a variable is stored. Okay, now let us see how a array is stored. So a array always needs a continuous block of memory. Okay, so if say the first element of the array is stored over here. Okay, so what is the first element? It's 5. So next element will obviously be stored over here, next element will be here, 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 and so on. Okay, clear, everybody? So say the name of your array is arr. Okay, so ARR of 0 will be pointing over here. This is actually, if you, even if you don't do ARR of 0, okay, suppose you want to print the first element, you do ARR of 0. But even if you don't do, you just print ARR, you will always get the first element. Okay. So our array, the variable array, okay, this is a very popular interview question. Like, say you have created an array and you have given this name to an array, ARR. Okay. So where does this ARR point to? So this ARR actually points to the first element. Okay. Then in index, we are doing +1, right? So then when you do ARR of 1, it'll ARR of 1 will be this, ARR of 2 will be this, ARR of 3 will be this, ARR of 4 will be this, so on. Okay. So I'm not telling that it gets incremented by one. It gets incremented by, according to the data that you're storing. So say character, it requires, say, or if you store byte, okay, byte type of data. So byte type of data only requires 1 byte to be stored, okay. Or say integer, it requires 4 byte. So that is how the memory addresses will change. But this is how array is stored in memory. Summarizing whatever I've said, so array is always stored in a continuous block of memory. Whenever you create an array and you assign that array to a variable, that variable actually points to the first element in an array. Okay. And going forward, whichever element, this is your base, whichever index you want to do, so it just adds that. Okay. So suppose you want to get the second index, so it will add, assuming that every element is taking 1 byte over here. So to 1001, it will add 2. Okay. So it will be 1003. And at 1003, you have 1, and this is what you wanted to fetch, right? The second index. That is how elements are fetched from a memory. Okay. So, array clear, everybody? Okay, great. Thank you. So, now coming to how do you create array in Java? So in Java, the syntax is slightly different. How did you create an array in JavaScript? Anybody? Quickly in the chat, how did you create an array in JavaScript? Not just with the brackets. Okay, so it's like we in JavaScript, when you had to create an array, I could have done something like this. Say var arr, right? This would have created an array for me. Now, when it comes to Java, how do you create an array? First, you have to mention the data type. Okay. Then you have to mention the name of the array. The name can be anything. It is a user defined variable name. Then you have to write this new keyword. Okay. This new over here, it is a keyword. You cannot write anything according to whatever you want. This is the keyword. And or let's break it down into two. Or maybe I guess this is the easier way to understand. So you write the data type, you write the name of the array, you write the new keyword, and then you write the data type again. Okay. And over here, you also have to put the array, put these square brackets, which denote that it is an array that you have created. Okay. And a semicolon, of course. Over here, you also give the length of the array. Now, when it comes to on the left hand side, also you have to give these square brackets. So either you can give brackets over here, okay, after the data type, or you can give brackets over here. Okay. I mostly do it like this. So that is how you create an array in Java. Let's run a program and let's see. So see, suppose I want to create an integer type of array. So I'll be creating it like this. Int arr is equal to new int. Okay. And say I want to store 5 elements. Okay. This is how I'll be creating an array. Now, the array that you create, the size is fixed. Okay, so while this part is called initialization, not exactly initialization. Initialization is actually something else. I'll cover that. But this thing that you write, right, when you instantiate this array, this part over here, you also have to mention the size of the array. Okay, so the size of the array is static. You cannot change the size of the array. The size of the array is fixed. Okay, so whatever size you will be giving over here, that will be the size of the array. It cannot be changed. So now, when you do this, okay, when you do something like this, what happens is that a block is created like this in memory, and 5 places are allocated, and this one is called ARR. Okay, this is what happens. Now, Let's talk about initialization. So there are two ways in which you can initialize an array. Okay. Um, this first part that you see over here, this is called declaration. This part is called declaration. Okay. So either you can create an array like this, or there is another way of creating an array. So what you can do is that just declare your array, all right, and then you can also mention that what elements it has. So just give me a second. I just want to check one thing. So see, same thing. We can do like this. Instead of writing new int, if you already know the numbers that will be coming into your array, you can put them here. Okay. Now let's try printing ARR. If I print ARR, let's see what do we get. So it actually printed the address. Okay, no problem. So it prints the address of the first element. Okay, this is where it prints the reference of the first element, where the first element of the array is stored. Okay. Now what you have to do is that, say you want to print ARR of 3. So we got 1, right? That is what we expected. Array indexing starts from 0. So it is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Okay. So either you create an array like this. Okay. So you declare, this part is declaration. You declare it, and then you initialize it as well. Okay. You along here, you initialize it. This is one way of creating an array. Could all of you quickly try this, please, and let me know if it is working for you? All of you, please. You will easily learn if you are doing this. So please, it will just hardly take 2 minutes. Please try it once. Guys, are you trying? Okay, good, good, thank you. What about the others? See, these topics are like, these are not very vast topics, so we can take our own time. We can keep trying, and and then we can slowly proceed with the lecture. So that's why I am giving you time to try, because these are some topics in which we have got sufficient time. Is anybody still trying? Do you want me to wait? Anybody who wants me to wait? Okay, seems like no. All right, let's get started. Okay. So this one way, which I told you about of initializing the array, this is one way to do it. Okay. Now consider that you do not know that what are the inputs that the user would be giving. Okay, you're not sure about the inputs. So that we'll talk about later, how you can initialize in this case. But this is one way to initialize it. Okay. Another way, so this is one way to do it. Another very similar way to initialize it is like this: int arr. Okay, you create, and then you do new int, And then even over here between, also please notice that we are putting the elements between curly braces, okay? So over here also you can put your elements. So these are different ways using which you can do the same thing that we have done over here. So these are the two ways. Now I want to start, actually I wanted to give more time to arrays and loops, okay? So consider, your array has got three elements, okay? The size of your array is three. And let me do over here, new int, let's say 5, okay? Now if you want to assign 5 elements, that's easy, right? We'll do arr of 0 is equal to this, arr of 1 is equal to this. But array in real life can be huge, it can be very big, all right? So it's not possible to, manually enter elements in every element, in every index, okay? So for that, what we do is that we use loops with array, okay? So how does a loop work? Say I create a simple for loop which all of you know. So for int I is equal to 0, I less than, so if I want to put the elements, okay, initialize all the indices, what I'll do, my array dot length, okay? So this is the property length. Every array has got this property length which tells you what is the size of the array, okay? Clear? So this does, and I'll just do I plus plus, just regular how your for loop works. Then what we can do over here is that I can do something like this: arr of I is equal to I. Suppose I write something like this, okay? Then in the end, I will just print. See, right now I'm just printing one element, but we could print more elements as well. No, Zishan, we will not be able to create array of multiple data types. So array should have same data type. Okay? Yeah. This is one restriction with array that we have. Array can have only similar data types. Okay? So consider using this, I have initialized value in the array. Okay? Now say I want to print elements. So what will I do? int I is equal to 0, I less than arr dot length I plus plus. Okay? And what I'll do is that print arr of I. So let's see what do we get. See, 0, 1. I don't know why didn't we get a new line over here. Maybe some problem with the environment. But yeah, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? This is what we have got. Did you guys understand this, whatever we have done over here? Any questions? Let me know if you have any questions, because now I'm going to give you a question if you do not have. Okay? Zishan has a question. If any scenario comes that there is any other way to store multiple data type. Yeah, Zishan, so you can store multiple data types in an object, right? So like you create an object for person. So a person can have name, which is a string. A person can have age, which is integer. So you can store it in a object, okay? And then you can store that object in an array. Suppose you want to store a list of arrays, list of objects. So that you can do. Did I answer your question, Zishan? Okay. Now, I'm giving you guys a question. What you have to do is that you have to create an array, okay, of size 5. Okay, this is step 1. Step 2 is that initialize array with index plus 2. Okay, so it means what you have to do is that, say this is your array. So the size is 5. First index, what is the index? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So it should have 0 plus 2, okay, which is 2. 1 plus 2, 3. 2 plus 2, 4. 3 plus 2, 5. 4 plus 2, 6. This is what you have to do. Question clear? Can all of you try? I'm giving you time to try. If you're not able to do that, I'll tell you how it is done, but please try. This is what you have to do. Should we test the like? Should we see? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do this activity? Okay, okay, great, great. Try it, all of you, please. I'm here on the call. If you're stuck somewhere, please let me know. I can help you with that. Again, I'm telling, if there is somewhere where you are stuck, okay, you like you know some things, but then you are stuck. You don't know how to get the final reach the final answer. Please put it down in the chat. I can help you. I have checked your solution, Rosine. I'll not tell if it is correct or not right now. Okay. So let's have few more answers and then I'll tell. Okay.
Anybody else? Anybody else is trying? Are you like, I see only two answers which have been posted. What about the others? Okay, I've got three answers now. Okay, all right. Okay. Anybody else trying for whom we should wait? Please let us know if you want us to wait. Otherwise, I'll discuss the solution. Okay. I assume that nobody wants to wait, or like wants me to wait. Okay. So a couple of you got the solution right. What you will be doing is that, let me do over here. So over here, I was initializing this element with the index. Okay. So instead of that, I'll initialize it with 2, like the index plus 2. Okay. Now if I run it, this is what we wanted, right? I like some problem with the ID. That is why there's a new line is not coming. Or let me do like this. Hmm. I don't know why isn't it coming in a new line, but you get it right. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, this is what the output is. Okay. From the answers, I assume that a lot of you have understood this. Okay, whatever we are trying to do. Let's have another question. Okay, write a program. Okay, using array. So whatever question I'm doing, so we will be doing it array. Okay, using array. So what I'll do is that, because you guys already know about array, I will give you question. You will have to try, and then I will tell the answer and I'll teach. Okay, let's do like that. Let's have a bit practical class today. So what you have to do, consider that you have an array and there are elements in an array. The size of the array is say 10. What you have to give me is that the sum of all the elements of the array. This is what you have to give me. The sum of all the elements of the array. So say, example, your array is 5, 4, 3, 6, 2. Okay. So the sum is 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 6 plus 2. 5 plus 4 is 9, 9 plus 3, 12, 18, 20. Okay. So this is 20. So your answer should be 20. Thank you, Ritik. All right. Yeah. So this is what you have to do. You have to create an array of element 10. Okay. So there should be 10 elements in an array. Put any random number that you would like to, and just add and just return the sum of the array. Okay. That is what you have to do. Quick. Okay. I'm like you guys are putting the questions. Sorry, the solution. I am checking on that. Okay. I'll react to the questions which are correct. Mhm. Tapas, your solution is correct. Ishwar, your solution is also correct. Yeah. Good, good. Everybody, please try. You'll only know after trying, right? If you are comfortable with this, if this is working with you or not. So this happened with me earlier. I just used to see the code and I used to think that yeah, it's fine. I'll be able to write it. But trust me, that doesn't happen. Okay, good, good. Yeah, all right. Okay. Anybody who, so I gave you a couple of questions, right, till now. Anybody who was not able to solve any of that, matlab, are you not aware how will it be done, or you just don't want to do it now? What is the scenario? See, if you just don't want to do it now, I am fine with that. Okay, I'm fine with that. What I'm not fine with is that you do not know. Okay, so and if you do not know, then speak up. Let me know if you do not know. Okay. Okay, good, good. Thank you for the solution, guys. Rosine, your solution is correct. Zishan, your solution is also correct. And Kusaram, your solution is also correct. Good job. Good job, guys. Very good. Okay. Now, the question on the same pattern. All right. And but slightly tricky. I wouldn't call it tricky, but different. Okay. Now, what you have to do is that you have to give me the sum of alternate elements. See, in interviews, you are not just asked that what is an array. Okay. You are asked to answer questions related to array. So that's why, because today's material is a bit light, it will not consume entire 2 hours. So instead of ending up early, I thought that why not give you some problems. So this is one question: sum of alternate elements. So say you have a array 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so it depends on you from which element you would like to start. So consider you want to start from 1. Okay, so in your sum you should include 1, 3, and 5. Okay, so your answer should be 1 plus 3, which is 4, 4 plus 5, which is 9. Got it? Or alternatively, what you can do, you can include 2, 4, and 6. So your answer will be 12. Okay, either way, whatever you prefer, please do this. So this should be done using for loop and array. Okay, using these two concepts, please do this. Find the sum of alternate elements, please. Okay, good. I am seeing your solution, and I'm really glad that you guys are getting a hang of it. So really good, good job, all of you. Any questions related to array and loop? Anything? Okay, all right. So after this, after we have done for loop, we have to talk about for each loop. All right. But that is, I guess, the second last topic that we need to talk about in this session. So let's do one thing, that let's have a break of 10 minutes. Let's meet sharp at 9. Then we'll talk about for each loop. We will do some examples. I'll give you some similar questions for each loop. Do this. We'll do that. We'll discuss some interview questions, and then we'll take up your questions. Okay. If there is something which was taught previously in Java which you did not understand and you want me to explain, we could do that. Okay. Works for everybody? Okay, cool. So let's have a quick break. Let's meet sharp at 9. I am going to pause the session. All right. But I'll be available on the chat. So if you have any question, put it in the chat. I'll answer it. Okay. I hope you guys are back. Everybody back? Okay, cool, cool. Let's get started then. So the next topic that we will be talking about is for each loop in Java. Okay, so we saw for loop, that's fine, but there is another type of loop which is called for each loop. Okay, so let's see how it works. Let me start with it. For each loop. So the syntax is kind of similar to the for loop. Okay, there is only some minor changes here and there. I'll be covering that. What you can do, so let's see it like this. Okay, so for each loop also, it is a type of for loop. Okay, okay. Just a second. Let me reconnect the audio device. Um, okay. Can you confirm if the voice is fine now? Voice is fine now, guys? Okay. Oh, thank you. All right. Let's get started then. So we were talking about the for each loop. What is for each loop? It is a variation of for loop. Okay. So in for loop, what do? You iterate. Okay. You loop through the elements, the collection that has been given to you. Similarly, in for each loop also, we are going to do the same, but the syntax is sorry, the syntax is a bit simpler. Okay, there are less things that you write. So, for example, for each loop takes two things. Okay, so consider you have got an array. It has got elements 5, 1, 2, 3, 0, 9. Okay, it has got elements like this. Now, if you have to iterate through for each loop, it is like this. For Then over here, you have to mention the data type. Sorry, you have to mention the data type. So data type will be the data type of every of like one element over here in this array. Okay. And so if I have to mention for the for each loop, if I have to mention the data type of the element, what should it be? Correct, int. Okay. Then you have to give a variable name. Okay. So just create a variable. then colon, and then the array. Okay. So for this collection, if I want to create a for each loop, I am going to write like this: for int, okay, let me call it element, colon, and what is the name of my array? ARR, right? This is the array. If I write and consider over here, I'm just printing system dot out dot print element. What happens is that we are just telling that from this collection of array, sorry, not collection of array, from this collection, which is an array, this element refers to one element at a time. Okay. So it will start with the 0th index and it will go till n minus 1 index. So every time it will refer to one element. Okay. So this element in the first iteration, so it will refer to 5, then in the second iteration, it will refer to 1, then 2, 3, 0, 9, so on. Okay. So what you have to do, so like you had the normal for loop over there, you had that condition, like you have to check if the index is less than the length of this array. Okay. Or let me show over here. Over here, we were checking that the index is less than the length of the array or not. And then we were also incrementing. Okay. So when we are doing this with a for each loop, you are just free from all this hassle. You do not have to do that. All that you have to do is that you just mention the type of variable, type the variable, the array. Okay. That is how you have to do. So let me just give you an example over here, and then I will ask you to code it. So if the same thing, I have created this array, okay, and I want to print it using the for each loop. Okay, so how will I write it? For and everything will be same. Over here, I'll say int element. Okay, element referring to one single element in the array, and the name of my array is ARR. Okay, over here, instead of printing ARR of I, I'll just print element. Let me just run and see if it works. So yeah, it's working, right? I still don't know why it prints this in the same line. But yeah, one thing that we can do so that it looks better is this. Okay, yeah. So we are getting the array. I'm not doing println, which means that it is not going to the next line. It is printing in the same line. And after every element, it is giving a space. Okay, so how did this work? Our array was this, okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what it did is that first element was referring to 2. So it printed 2. Then it gave a space. Then this all these things, okay, incrementing, pointing to the next element and all of this happens in the background. Okay. So did you guys understand the for each loop? Everybody, did you understand for each? Okay. Any questions? Okay. Then let me give you a question then. Let's first start with easy questions. Okay. Abhinav is telling that doing sum of all elements, it gives out of bound exception. Abhinav, is it giving with the for each loop or with the for loop? Okay, can you please paste your code, the code that you have been using? Meanwhile, I'll also, so guys, let's try this question, which Abhinav mentioned, finding sum of all elements using for each. Okay, so say I have got a variable, sum is equal to 0, and what I'll do is equal to sum is equal to sum plus element. Let me do this, and I'll just print the sum. Abhinav, could you please paste your question, paste your solution? It works fine for me, Abhinav. So my array is actually this. Yeah, Abhinav. So see, like I was telling, this variable over here, it doesn't point to index. Okay. In for loop, this variable was pointing to our index of the array, whereas in this for each loop, this variable points to the element, but not to the index. Are you getting it? I'll remove this solution, but I want all of you to try. Okay. What you have to do is that find sum of all elements in an array using for each loop. Okay. This is the question. Please try solving it. This is important. You have to do it only using for each loop. Okay. And paste it in the answer. Paste it in the chat. Good. Good, Rosine. Let me check. Tapish has also sent his solution. Yes, Tapish, that's correct. I assume that you will be completing system.out. I guess because of the character limitation, you were not able to send everything. But yeah, that will you'll be printing that, right? This one. Yes, correct. Others, please try. See, there are very few classes in which we get the liberty of going slow because the what you are expected to cover is less. This is one such class, so that is why I want you to try whatever we are doing. Mm. Yes, Avinav, your solution is correct. Ganesh, your solution is also correct. What about the others? Try everybody. That is how you will understand, whether you are getting things, you're not getting things, where are you stuck. Okay, Kusaram has also sent the solution, and yeah, the solution looks fine. Also, I see one thing that like most of you use this of creating array. This one, right? Also, while this is fine that you do, this is one easier approach, but in real life, you may not know what are the elements, right? So always put elements like this. Okay, create array like this, like this, like I've done in line number 8, and put elements like this. Because if you're habituated to doing that, it will be difficult when you do not know what are the elements. I'll give 2 more minutes for everybody else to try, and then we'll proceed. Anybody who is trying and is stuck and doesn't know how to do it? Um, because I'm not seeing any question, I am assuming that you guys are not having any questions, like any major questions in Java, like at least the array part. Okay. So see, uh, this for each loop was the last topic, which was scheduled, or like which was in today's agenda. Just give me a second. I'll check the material again. So from here, there are two things that we can do. Either I can give you some questions related to array. Okay, I'll give you some questions. We'll discuss the solution. Either we can do that, or if there is some topic from Java which you would want me to teach, we can do that. So anything that you guys want. Okay, sorry, Ishwar, I missed your question. Can we assign default values to parameters in functions? Ishwar, as far as I know, we cannot. We won't be able to do that. Okay. Oh, Abhinav. No, no. Abhinav, what I said is that, like, if you have any question from what has been taught to you, like something that is there in the syllabus, we can talk to that. Like, we can talk about that. If there's something that you haven't discussed about Java, that we can do. Otherwise, so see, there are two options going forward. So because this is what we had to do, and I have covered whatever we had to cover, the agenda was pretty small. So I was telling that from here, there are two ways. Say, either I give you problems on 1D array. So I won't be giving you a list of problems and you will solve it. That's not how it will happen. I'll give you one problem. I'll wait for you to solve it. I'll discuss the solution. I'll give you another problem. Okay. I'll wait for you to solve it and we'll discuss it. Either we can do this, or if you need some clarification, okay, clarification in Java concepts, we can do this. 1 and 2. I'll do a quick poll. Let's see what do you guys feel. Okay. Or let's have an option for other also. So if you have some other suggestion, we could do that. So let me just create a poll. No problems on array, or okay. So I have published a poll. Could all of you please answer it? And everybody who is seeing others, please tell me what do you mean, what do you want. Okay. And also, when you are telling that clear Java concept, then tell me the concept which you would like me to clear. Okay, we have got 3 votes till now. What about the others? All right. So majority of the vote has come for more problems on array. So one vote that has come for clear Java concept. Is there any particular concept that you would like me to clear? Any particular concept that you'd want me to clear? Okay. Meanwhile, you think about that. Let me give a very interesting question on arrays. These are just some beginner level questions. Okay. So say I have given you an array is having 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 2. Okay, this is the array that I have given you. You have to find the frequency of 2. This is what you have to do. This is the question. Find the frequency of 2. This array has been given to you. From this array, find the frequency of 2. Should we do this? First, I'll not tell the solution. You try it from your side and then let me know. Okay, try this out.
Some your voice is again breaking.
Oh, I'm sorry. So like when I give you guys question to answer, right? So I turn off the mic of my headphone. So yeah, and then I forget to turn it on. Sorry. Yeah. So what I'm telling is that good job, guys. All the solutions that you have posted till now are absolutely correct. Good job. What about the others? Are you still trying? Do you want us to wait before I give some other question, or should we continue? What to do? Okay. I assume people are done. Okay. Giving next question. Okay, this is similar only. What you have to do, this was question one. Question two, find the number of even and odd numbers. This is what you have to find. In the same given array, find the number of even numbers and the number of odd numbers. I'm sorry, I forgot to ask people who were not able to do it. Do you want me to run the previous question, question one, and show it to you? Anybody who wants me to discuss the solution, I guess I should do that. I'm sorry, I just missed that. Okay. So how do you do that? See, whatever is my array, okay, I'll have this array only. Or let me have some random array, 2, 2, 6. Okay, now for this, if I have this, I'm telling the solution of the previous one. If I have to find the frequency, so let me have frequency is equal to 0. And if element equal to 2, only in that case, what I'll be doing is that frequency plus plus, okay? And in the end, I'll just print frequency. So I expect that it should be 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, it should be 5. Yeah. So we are getting 5. Okay, this is correct. Now on to the second question, all of you. Okay, we have already got one solution for the second question. I have already got two questions, sorry, two answers, and both of them I have verified. What about the others? Can you please try? There are 12 people in the class, and I see only few of you are trying. I would like participation from all. This is for your practice, right? So please try. I'll give you 2, 3 more minutes. Please try. Okay, Abhinav has an interesting observation that with for each loop and for loop, we are getting different answers. Let's check it. Okay, so let me try. Let me add some more numbers. Okay, this is the array that we have, and I so according to me, the number of even numbers should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 even numbers. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 even numbers. So we should have even 6, and odd is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 odd. Okay. Let's try to do this. First, I'll do it via for each loop, and then we'll do it with for loop. Element modulus 2 is equal to 0. It means that it is even. Let me have two flags. Even is equal to 0. Odd is equal to 0. So if element, then I'll do even plus plus, else odd plus plus. Okay. And let's print even and odd. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. So with for each, we are getting the correct response. I'll just comment it out and I'll write the same thing for loop also. Okay. So over here, I'll do arr dot length arr of I is equal to this. We get the same response, Abhinav, right? So see, doesn't depend on which loop you are doing. It's doing the same thing. It's not doing anything else. It's iterating through all the elements. Okay. So I'm not sure the code that you have written. Could you please send the code that you have written? And what I can guess, Abhinav, is that over here you wouldn't be doing ARR of I. You would just be doing I mod 2 equal to 0. Is that the case? Are you doing I mod 2 equal to 0 instead of ARR of I mod 2? Yeah, yeah, Abhinav. See, so I'll paste your code, Abhinav. Okay, please don't mind. So see, this is the code, Abhinav, that you have written. Oh, sorry. Let me copy it. This is the code you have written. So see, this I, is it referring to index or is it referring to the element? What is this I referring to? Element, right? This I is referring to element. So it is nothing like ARR of element, right? With this, you will not get correct results. Are you getting it? Over here, you should only do I mod 2. I is referring to the element. It is not referring to the index, okay? Not a problem. A lot of students get confused in this thing, okay, with for each. So always remember in for each, the variable over here refers to the element, and in for loop, the variable over here refers to the index, okay? All right. I see there are a few more solutions. Let me just go through them. But yeah, anyway, I have written the solution. So this is the solution. Got it, all of you? One more problem, actually, I wanted to give you. So given an array, say that this is our array, 5, 9, 1, 23, 14, 32. Okay, this is the array. Feel free to add your own elements, no problem. Find the largest number. This is the question. Find the largest number in the array. Try this, please, everybody. Find the largest number in the given array. Let's see who does it first. Are you guys trying? Do you need some help? Please let me know in the chat if you need some help. Okay. Take your time. No problem. Okay, already received one solution. Just going through it. Okay, your solution is correct, Kusaram. Good job. You're the first one to give the correct solution. We have few more solutions. So, yeah, Tapas. So your solution, Tapas, will also work, but we can easily do it using one loop, right? So let's not try to use nested loop. But good attempt. Yes, Abhinav, your solution is also correct. So let me. So what I'll do is that I will see the. So see, first I'll paste Kosaram's solution. There is one very. That's not a mistake, I would say. Okay, that is not a mistake. I just want to point one little thing. So see, this is the solution that has been shared. The problem is now consider if your array is having negative elements. Okay, say it's having all negative. So in this case, do you think this will work? So in this case, if your array is having all negative elements, in this case, your largest will always be zero, irrespective of the array that you are getting, right? Array can have integers. Integers can be negative, right? Kusalam, are you getting the problem with your solution? This is just one corner case, okay? It's not. I gave all the positive numbers, but user can give negative numbers as well, okay? So Abhinav shared one solution in which what Abhinav has done is that instead of writing largest is equal to 0, he has written largest is equal to ARR of 0. So with this, what happens is that initially -5 will be our largest element, okay? And then we do not care, right? Whether it is negative, positive, whatever is happening. We do not have, so see, the only thing is that the only concern with these type of problem is that by mistake you're not assigning largest to any value which does not exist in the array and turns out to be largest in the array. In that case, you will get the wrong solution, right? So yeah, let me check other solutions as well. So we have a solution from Rosine as well. Yeah, Rosine, so see, guys, when I'm telling that your solution is correct, so I'm just seeing it from like on a very high level. So that's what I'm doing. But do run your solution once to figure out, okay, to just be double sure. I'm not running your solution, right? So hmm, this is the solution which I have, which I'll run, and let me show. Okay, what's the problem? Oh, sorry. ERR is already defined. Let me comment this. Yes, largest number is -1, which is indeed largest, right? -1 is largest. All right. Okay. Any other thing that you guys would like me to cover? Any other topic? Like these are some very basic questions with array and loop, which I thought that it could be a fun activity to do. Any other thing that you'd like me to cover? Any other concept which is not clear for with Java and you'd like me to cover it? Okay, seems like no. So, all right, guys, this is what I had to discuss in today's session. Today's session was mostly practical. Very rarely we get such sessions, right? That we get a lot of time in which we try to practice a lot of questions. It was fun seeing your answers and seeing the enthusiasm with which you guys are answering. Good job. Keep it up. And yeah, see you in the next session. Good night, all of you. Have a great weekend and happy Diwali in advance to all of you. Over to you, Ritik.
Okay, thank you, Soumya. Okay, hello everyone. We have very small assignments today. So first of all, like I was really seeing the chat and you all were answering with the questions and you are solving. So that's a very good sign that you're able to grasp all these things. So let's quickly. I'll not take more than 10 to 15 minutes to cover this. So let's quickly share my screen and let's quickly jump to the assignments. Okay, first of all, sorry, yesterday I guess I discussed the wrong assignments. So it was supposed to be functions on Java, and I discussed functions on JavaScript. Okay, so there is only one question in this. So there are basically two in this, but yeah, there is mostly on the logic front. So I'll quickly go through both the questions, and in case you want to like put anything specific that we should discuss, we can do that. But yeah, since we have these only two, so I'll try to cover both of them. Okay. So what the first question is telling that we have a Java program to print the Fibonacci series up to n terms, creating a function having no return type. Okay, so we want to print a Fibonacci series up to the nth term by creating a function. Okay, so I'm assuming that you will be able to take that n as input, right? And you can pass that input to the function, right? So I'll just write the function of how it should look like. Okay, it is also telling it is having no return type, right? So no return types basically means that we have to mark the function as void, right? Okay, and let's call this as fib. Let's say you took input and you can just pass that input to the function, right? And what we have to do inside this function, that we have to print the Fibonacci numbers till this n, right? Okay, so we have taken a int n and we have to just print all the Fibonacci numbers till this, right? Okay. Now inside this we just have the logic to print the Fibonacci, right? So let's say we can take int a, which is 0 first term, int b, which is again 0, and finally we'll have a c, which is the value that we would want to calculate everything. Okay, we can have a for loop which will run for exactly n times because we want to print uh, till the nth term, right? Right. So we want to print n terms, so we will run the Fibonacci series loop for n times, right? So here we can see the input is given 10. We are running the loop for 10 times, and it will print the first 10 Fibonacci numbers, right? Okay. So the first number we already have, that is 0, right? So we can simply do system dot out dot println, and we can simply print a, right? So this print the first Fibonacci number. Now this is what would happen when the loop will run for the first time. Next, what we have to do, we just have to change a to the second number. So a will go to the second number, okay, and b will go to the third number, c, right? Now what is c? C is something which we have not calculated. Now can you take a guess what c can be? Right, c क्या हो सकता है? How will we calculate the third term in the Fibonacci series? How do we calculate the third term? What is yes, a plus b, right? Yeah, so that's what we have to do. We just have to write this statement, c equals to a plus b, right? So what we are doing, we know the first two terms. Okay, sorry, second term is b will be 1. Yeah, so first two terms, for a is 0, b is 1. What we have to do, we have to print n numbers, so we are running the loop for the n times, and every time what we are doing is we are just trying to print that a number which is a, right? And then we are moving forward, so we are calculating the next term, which is going to be a plus b. A goes to the second term, a becomes the second term, that is b, and b becomes the third term, that is c, right? And this will keep on happening for the next steps until we print the nth term, right? And then we'll exit the loop, we'll exit the function. Okay, this is what is the solution for the uh, first question, right? And then you can call this function from any main function, right? You can pass a take a input, user input n, or you can pass a n, right, to print this. Okay, anyone doubts on this one? Do you get it? Yes, clear. Okay, yeah, okay. So I'll go to the next question then. Yeah, So next question is even more easier. There was a logic that you had to write over here, right? You have to uh, create a logic of Fibonacci, right? Which I guess you should be now like somewhat familiar with writing loops and doing this small computation. Okay. So the next question is even easier. What you have to do is you are given an array, and you are which is of strings, right? Not a normal array like numbers or characters. You have strings. What you have to do is you have to find the index of a particular string and you have to print it. If the index is not present, then you can print minus. Okay. So again, we don't have to print in this particular function. This function says that we have to return that value, right? So we have to return. So since we have to return, its type is going to be integer. Okay. And let's create this function. Let's call it as find. Okay. This function has a string array. So let's call it as array. And this function gives you a string. Let's call it as f. So you have to find this if this particular string is present in this array. If yes, you have to return its index. If not, then we'll return -1. Okay. So what we can do is we can simply go through the entire array. So we can start with 0. We can go to s dot length and we can do I plus plus. Note there is one small difference when you write length for an array and length for a string, right? Can you tell me what is the difference when I write s dot length for an array, and if I like what is the difference when you write f dot length? What is the difference in the length that you write for array and for a string? How do they differ? Can I write f dot length? Will it still is it same? Can I write if I want to know the length of the string? Can I write this? It is correct, or there is some mistake over here? No one. So my question is, see, I can write f dot length. F is a string variable, right? I can write s dot length, right? S is a array. So are can I write this? Are both of them correct, or there is some mistake in any one of them? Can I use the length for both array and strings? Oh, okay, there is a small difference when you write length for arrays, right? You can use s dot length, but when you write it for strings, you have to write it as function. Okay, in Java. So this is a small difference. So the string one is a function, for length is a property, right? Yesterday you learned about oops concept, right? So this is like a property or a data member, right? But this is like a function. Okay, got the difference? What is the difference between the length in the string and the length in the array? Yes. Okay, excuse me. Yeah, so this was it. Right now what we can do is we can simply check if f dot equals yeah, sorry, there was some disturbance. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So once we compare these two, so we can know that if they are equal or not, right? So if they are equal, then what we have to do is we have to return the index, right? So here, since they are equal, we can directly return the index, that is I. And if they are not, once we come outside the loop, we can simply return a -1. That would handle the scenario if it is not found. If it is not found, we'll be returning a -1. And if it is found, we would return the index at which this particular string is found. Okay. Understood? Clear? So we are iterating through the entire array. We are checking if any one of these strings in the array is equal to the string that we are looking for. If yes, then we are returning the index. Otherwise, we are returning -1 at that. Okay. Yeah, I don't see any doubts. So I'll assume it's understood. Okay. Let's move on. let's move to the next assignment. For this object oriented programming, there is a quiz. Okay. First of all, tell me how many of you attempted this quiz, and like did you pass? You have doubts in certain things, because I want to discuss this. There is a lot of concepts that I can share with you while going through this quiz. So did you do it? Are you stuck? So there is a very small concepts that are used, not attempted. Chalo. Okay, let's discuss. Right. So this quiz is very interesting. Actually, it covers all the concepts that you learned yesterday. Okay. So we'll solve this quiz together. Okay, we would get a timer and we'll try to solve it before that timer. Right. Chalo. Chalo retakes. Let me done. Let me do a retake. How can I do it? So I cannot do it. Let me see again. Yeah. I don't know what is the issue in this right now. Let me start it again. Okay. Uh, so I can't retake it. Can I view the answers? Okay. I guess. Okay, it is not allowing me to enter it. I can even not view it. Okay. ठीक है, I guess it will not allow me to go into it. I don't see the questions here. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll use this content to discuss the questions, right? So I guess I have the questions with me, so I can use that. Okay. Yeah, test has to be within 30 minutes. Yes, I got that is the thing that is causing issues. Okay, I guess I cannot start it. Okay, anyways, in the next session, I'll try to cover this. But yeah, I'll discuss all the questions that we have. Okay? So, what were the questions? So, the first question is I cannot start it, right? I can neither share this. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I'll discuss the majority of concepts, right, that were there in these questions, so that will help you, right? So the first question says, "Ki what is identify an abstract data type?" Right. So there is a list of data types, and you have to identify an abstract data type. Okay. So now, do you know how many types of data types we have, right, in Java? What are the types of data types that you have? Right? I know that there are strings, doubles, floats, strings, right? But what is the types? How many types? Two. Yes. What are the two types? What are the two types? Primitive and non-primitive, right? So there is a primitive data type and there is a non-primitive, right? So non-primitive are also known as user-defined data types or abstract data types, right? Which is not present by default. We create them, right? For example, we can create class, we can create interface, right? We create them. Those are not a part of primitive data types. Things like integer, float, double, boolean, character, strings, right? So these we can call as primitive data types, right? Okay. So now, is class a primitive or non-primitive data type? Tell me. I even answered this right now. Is class primitive or non-primitive? Primitive. Why do you think class is a non-primitive, right? So class is a non-primitive data type. Okay. Then there are a lot of questions on three concepts, which are like you yesterday understood that there are four pillars of basically OOPS, right? One is abstraction, one is encapsulation, one is inheritance, one is polymorphism, right? So these are the four basic concepts on which your entire thing is based on, right? Your entire oops concept is based on. Okay. So I'll, I know that you all understood the definitions of this and you all know what this does. Okay. Now I'll ask you what, if you I ask you what is the purpose of abstraction? Abstraction karta kya hai, right? What is a single word? What you can tell me in a single word? What does it do? Abstraction kya karta hai, right? What does abstraction do? Yesterday you understood a lot of things about abstraction, but if I ask you in a single word, what does abstraction do? What will you say me? Data hiding, yes. Any, what about others? Can you think of a single word? So this answer is actually correct. Data hiding, it hides, right? It is hiding basically all the information from a user, right? It is putting everything in background and it's just showing you like the features. For example, a simple example is like the switchboard, right? You just know कि when I press the switch on, my fan will run. If I turn it off, my fan will stop, right? You don't ever worry about कि how the switch is turning on the fan, right? How electricity is flowing, anything. So that is hidden, right? So that is that is the entire concept of abstraction. कि abstraction is nothing but hiding of data. Okay. So the second, third, and fourth questions on the quiz are based on this. कि data hiding is like what is data hiding, or which of the following properties represent data hiding, right? Okay. Now similarly, if I ask you a single word definition for encapsulation, what will you say? What does encapsulation do in a single word? So, what is the bookish definition? Wrapping up of all the data and methods into a single entity, right? So, what will you say me in a single word? So, okay. So, it's known as binding. See, you have objects, right? Yes, binding. That's the word. So, you have different data members. You have functions, right? Uh, you have so many things inside a class. Now, what does encapsulation do? It binds everything together into a single entity, right? Everything looks like a single thing. So it is binding, right? So now the third question is what represent encapsulation and abstraction? So encapsulation is represented by binding, abstraction is represented by hiding. Okay, okay. Now, if you use the new keyword, at what time the your like if you use a new keyword, when is the object or when is the uh, variable gets created, right? When is that space to that thing gets allocated? Well, is it in the compile time? Is it in the run time? Right? Is it before is running the program? When does that happen? If you use the new keyword, for example, if I write int a is equals to new int, right? Something like that. Okay, let me share the screen. At least we can use this. Yeah. So when is the space given if I write int a is equals to new int? Right, something like this. When is the space to this given? Is it given in the compile time? Is it given before compile time? It is given after compile time in the runtime or somewhere. कब space मिलता है इसको? When is the space given to this a variable? No idea. So anything that you use new, right? Wherever you will use new. So see, there are three parts. Firstly, one is the compile time, where your code, when you firstly the code compiles and then it runs, right? So anything that you create using new keyword will get its space, will get its memory, will get its storage at the runtime. Usko runtime पे मिलेगा space. It will not get it in the compiled, right? Okay. And this is the difference between creating a normal variable like writing a int as sum or something, right? So this will get its space in the compile time. इस compiler को पता चल जाएगा. Java will know that okay, there is a integer variable for which I have to create space, so it will create it. But this it will not be knowing, so it will create it in the runtime. Okay, got it? Okay, yeah. Okay, okay. Now, okay, so the last property was inheritance. There is two, three questions related to it. Okay, we know about inheritance, right? There is a class, let's say A, which is parent, and there can be childs of A, which can be B. B can again have a child C. A can have multiple children like B, D, and so on, right? Okay, so what is the advantage of having inheritance? I guess yesterday Soumya also covered this. That you have two, three major advantages of inheritance. Can you list at least one or two of them that you remember? Any advantage of inheritance that you remember? Less code writing, yes. We can reuse the code, yes. Yes. Okay. So inheritance allows us to for code reuse, right? It also helps us to remove nested class, right? Acha. Now, what is nested class? ठीक है. Let's say I say you to create a car. Okay. So what you'll do is, okay, you'll say, okay, my class I'll create a car. So you'll do class car. I'm just doing a small example. Okay. In the class car, you'll say, okay, my car can be again divided into two, three parts. My car, I can have some property which is like of a class vehicle, right? Uh, right? Uh, and then some properties which it will match with, let's say, class speed or class, yeah, speed. Then it will have some properties from the speed, right? And so on, right? There can be n number of classes, right, or n number of features that you can think of in the class car. That car class will have similar number of features. Now, each such feature you can divide it again into subclasses, right? Which which is good. You are breaking your entire class down into smaller classes, but this will add more and more complexity to your code, right? Will you ever prefer writing something like this, 10, 15 classes, then vehicle can again have two, three more classes, right? So it will not look good, and it is even difficult for you to which variables are part of which class, right? Where I can use what, so on. So instead, what we can do is we can avoid using this and we can go for inheritance. Instead of this, we can say we'll not use this, rather we'll go for inheritance, right? Where we can create such classes outside this class, and if class car wants to inherit any one of these classes, we can inherit. Even if it wants to inherit multiple of them, we can inherit, right? So uh, this inheritance not only promotes code reusability, right? It also helps you to write lesser code, and it also helps you to remove this complexity of nested class. Okay, got it? Yeah, easy maintainability, efficiency, yes, got it. So this was one point that was there in the part of quiz as well. There is a question: which property of oops helps you get like helps you write better code instead of using nested class, right? So there you can use inheritance instead of creating nested classes. Got it? Understood what I was trying to convey? Any doubts? Anyone? Okay, clear. Yeah, I guess this is it. So this is like majority of the questions are within this. There are questions from inheritance, one or two, where one concept that I guess you might uh, slightly not be very much comfortable with was nested classes. Let's see, inheritance helps solve this problem as well. We don't need to use nested classes. We can inherit the classes, right? Apart from this, then you have questions on uh, abstraction, which which is also referred as hiding. So there are direct questions on this, two, three questions. Encapsulation, which you can refer as binding. Okay. Okay. And yeah, this is it. Okay. Okay. So So now, for those of you who have attempted, do you have any doubts on any particular specific question that you want to discuss? Because each of these concept questions have some topics. Right? You're fine, clear? Okay. For those of you who have not attempted yet, I'll strongly suggest please attempt this quiz. This is like very. I have found it very interesting, and it was very. It will help you a lot understand a lot of OOPS concept much better, right? So try to solve this quiz. Okay. Okay. So this is it. Thank you everyone for staying, and happy Diwali. Enjoy your Diwali. Right. Have a very good festive season. Come back refreshed next week. Right. We can learn a lot of more concepts. Thank you everyone for staying. Thank you everyone. See you again next week. Bye bye. Take care.